Perfect, Azim. Would you like to book a live demo to see how Streamline HQ works in real time for your needs? I've gone ahead and reserved your demo for Thursday at 11 a.m.
And now if I go over to my Google Calendar, I can see here that a demo has been scheduled for Thursday at 11 a.m. The AI you just heard there books all possible demos for SaaS companies 24/7. Voicemail or lack of response never exists for it. And this AI never sleeps, never takes a break, and handles every objection flawlessly. In the next 17 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to build this and gain the ability to never lose high-ticket demo calls ever again. Also, you'll get access to this blueprint and many other resources inside of my resource library for completely free. And if you're new to the channel, what's up? My name is Azim, and I'm the founder of Inspire AI, a voice AI agency that helps businesses use real voice agent solutions that work and earn them money while they sleep. If you're a business owner too, and you'd like to get a custom setup to try this yourself for completely free, I've just opened up 3 more spots for businesses that are committed to their growth with AI. So the first 3 people to book a free intro chat within the calendar link in the description will be the ones to access that limited time opportunity. But before we dive into the actual build, let's take a look at the brutal truth and disaster behind the current sales procedures of SaaS companies. So first of all, in nearly every industry, 78% of buyers are going to go to the first responder. But on average, SaaS companies take around 42 hours to respond to sales inquiries. This means that even if you could respond in the first 10 minutes, which is already a large window of time, then your chances of converting a lead into a client skyrocket by 100 times. But at the same time, even though SaaS companies are already inefficient with their response times, they also pay SDRs around $5,000 per month, even though they're available for only 40 hours per week. SDRs are available for less than 25% of the week, but if you compare that to an automation, it's available 24/7, like the agent I just showed you. Besides that, hiring and training is also a very lengthy and relatively expensive process, and that has to happen every 15 months for SDRs because they burn out very quickly from the pressure that's put on them. Without any further delay, let me show you what building this looks like and how this setup transforms entire businesses. So here I built a sample SaaS website using Lovable. You can access this template in the link in the description inside of my resource library for completely free, as always. You can also use a Google form or an NAN form node to test this out, which will make more sense later on. But for the sake of making this look as real as possible, I've decided to develop this website. So regardless, if I scroll down, I can click on Get Started Today, and I'm prompted with a form. And as soon as I'd filled this form out, I would instantly get a call that qualifies me as a prospect, asks me questions about the implementation, and then gives me some potential available times for booking. But either way, what you're going to do is head over to NAN, where we will be setting up the entire automation. Once you're logged in, create a new workflow. I already have my workflow set up over here, and the way you get that same workflow is, of course, by going to my resource library and downloading the workflow file I've provided for you. For those of you who don't know how to import it inside of NAN, just go ahead to the top right, click on those 3 dots, and click Import from File. What we will do to make this setup as fast as possible is set up what we can inside of NAN, and then head over to Vappy, where we will actually be configuring our voice agent. So first, of course, we're going to have our chat model set up. Chat models are the same thing as AI models. And for this particular use case, what we're going to be using are different Google Gemini models, just because they're very easy to set up and you can use them for free. So what you're going to do is head over to aistudio.google.com. Sign in with the Google account that you prefer to use, and over here you're going to see a button. You're going to click it, Get API Key. And what you can do here is just click on Create API Key. What you're going to do is select a Google Cloud project if you already have one. And if you don't have one already, you can head over to console.cloud.google.com and create a new project. If you're stuck, there are many great tutorials available on YouTube, so you can check them out and set this up in a few minutes. So once you've successfully attached a Google Cloud project of your choice, click Create API Key in existing project. Make sure to copy that API key and save it somewhere because you won't be able to access it after. Once you've copied that API key, go back inside of NAN to your workflows and click inside one of these Gemini Google circles. So here we're going to have an option, credential to connect with. You're going to click inside of it and you're going to click Create New Credential. For this, all you have to do is just paste the API key you got before and optionally name this something like default Google API key. At least that's what I named it. You're going to click Save and Exit. For the models, you're just going to leave them as is. because I've already chosen the best models for this setup. But what your job is to do really quickly is go ahead to the rest of these Google Gemini nodes and connect your credential inside of them. So once again, you would just go to this credential option and click the credential you just added. Next, what we're going to do is set up our RAG AI agent. You may have heard RAG tossed all over the place, but without making it too complex, it's just a system that allows you to organize data so that an AI agent can effectively retrieve and recall the information to answer things like FAQs or provide accurate information. For this specific agent, we're just going to be using the simple vector store inside of NAN. It's not meant to be used in a production use case, but it's a nice component to add to this agent. And the way you're going to upload data into this RAG agent is by using this simple setup I've also attached inside of the workflow. Essentially, what you're going to do is go to my resource library and go to the page titled something like RAG knowledge base. You're going to download that JSON file, and inside of this form, what you're going to do is activate your workflow. After you activate your workflow, go down over here and click on execute workflow. You're going to see a pop-up like this, and you're going to be able to choose and upload a file. So upload that JSON file and then click submit. From there, you should see something from there. You should see 200 and something items pop up from here. And once that's finished, that means the data has been set up. Once that data is set up inside, this section is ready to go. This is going to be our answer FAQ agent, which is going to handle things like objections, provide value up front, and answer any general questions a person may have. What you're also going to notice for the simple vector store is something called a re-ranker. Now, what a re-ranker does is it simply re-ranks the results in a more organized manner. And even though this may seem like a small step, it's actually pretty important. Of course, if you don't want this to get set up, you can just uncheck this option and delete this re-ranker node. Where you set up that re-ranker is by going over to cohere.com and signing up for an account. Once you're on the screen that I am, the Cohere dashboard, go over to the side and you're going to notice the API keys section. Even if you're using a free account for Cohere, you can still create an API key. Go over to here and you can click new trial key. Just add a name for a trial key. You can say something like SaaS demo build and then click on generate trial key. Back inside of NAN, click into the re-ranker Cohere node, click into the credential, and click create new credential. This setup is very similar to the Google Gemini setup. Just paste in your API key, name it something that you remember, and then click on save. From here, you're completely done with that. The remaining steps we have in the NAN workflow are also pretty easy. So what you may notice is that we have a book calendar, a check calendar, and the store lead node. These two are Google Calendar setups, and this one is a Google Sheet setup. For the calendars, you're just going to click inside. And if you've never set up a credential, just set up a credential. This credential is nothing more than just signing in with Google and connecting it to NAN. Once you've connected that, go down to the calendar and make sure you're clicking the exact calendar you want to use. You're going to do the same for the book calendar node. And then for the store lead Google Sheet node, you're going to once again connect your credential. It's the same process. And then for the sheet that I'm using, you may have noticed a page in my resource library called something like Google Sheet. You're going to go inside of that page and then go to File in the top left corner and then click on Make a Copy. After you've made that copy with a Google account that is connected to NAN, you're going to choose the exact spreadsheet we're connecting. So for document, it's going to be called something like Copy of SaaS Voice Freedom Protocol. And then for the sheet, it's going to be called Sheet 1. Perfect. So now 80% of our NAN setup is ready to go. You may have noticed that we haven't set up this make call node yet, but that's because we have to log in into VAPI first and then get the necessary details to set that up. That's what we're going to be doing next. So just head over to VAPI. If you don't have an account yet, sign up for one. VAPI is relatively generous, so you can get 10 credits upon signing up. So once you're inside of VAPI, go ahead to the assistant section over here and then click on create new assistant. I already have my assistant set up, but it's really not that complicated. In a page in my resource library, I've provided the entire prompt I have written over here, so just feel free to paste it inside of here. The first message, you can just copy exactly what I've put over here. I can provide that inside of the resource library too. For the voice, just choose a voice of your choice. I've used VAPI's Cool voice because it's a pretty decent voice. And for the transcriber, it's probably going to be set to Nova 2 for you. Just set it to Nova 3. Inside of the tools section, you're probably going to notice that I have these 3 green boxes, but you don't. That's what we're going to be setting up in just a moment. But for now, you can go to the predefined functions and enable the end call function. Setting up the tools is a repetitive but pretty easy process to follow. So you're going to go inside of this tools section, and we're going to be creating 4 tools. I provided a full guide on how to set up these tools with screenshots and the exact text that you need to paste in inside of my resource library. So you can go ahead and use that. Just make sure you're naming the tools exactly as you see them over here and setting up all of the options that I've provided. In the server settings, you're going to notice something called a server URL. For the server URL, you're just going to go back inside of NAN and go over to the side. What you're going to need to do is click inside of this tool calls node. It's something called a webhook trigger. A webhook trigger activates when it receives information. So when this webhook is going to receive information, our AI agent over here is going to determine which other AI agent it has to call based on the information that it got. So just click inside of this node and click this post to URL. You're going to copy paste the exact same URL in this section for all 4 tools. And once you have all of those 4 tools set up, you're going to go back to your assistant, go to the tools section, and then add all 4 of these tools. Awesome. So you've pretty much got most of it set up by this point. The last steps in this would just be to set up this webhook over here, which would receive the information from the form we've created over here for our website. Or optionally, you can use the on-form submission NAN node. What you would have to do though is make sure that you're adding all of these variables as options to this form node. This is a bit more difficult to set up simply because you would have to change the variables you're putting inside of this code as well as inside of this AI agent. But it's definitely possible, and it will only take you around 10 to 15 minutes of your time if you know what you're doing. But throughout this video, I've actually realized that I haven't really explained what this entire setup does. Essentially, when the form is filled out, all of the information inside of that form is passed on to this webhook. It then processes some of the data, gives that to our caller agent, which is going to place a call to VAPI. While that call is taking place, the agent can call the tools that we have assigned it earlier. And the information from these tools is going to flow onto this webhook, which is why it's called tool. The tool calls are going to process the setup. This code is going to process the information we've been given, pass it on to the intent detector, which detects whether we have to book a demo, capture a lead, or answer an FAQ. From there, we have an AI agent being activated, and after it completes the task, we should actually have a respond to webhook node attached, which I didn't attach before. However, the blueprint I'm going to provide you with is going to have that node set up, so no worries. Anyway, now that you finally understand why we've been building this agent, go ahead back into VAPI, go ahead and click inside of this make call node. Much of this is already going to be set up for you, but you're going to need to add a few small things. So first of all, we're going to need the authentication because VAPI needs to know that the assistant you're calling is actually yours. So for the authentication, you're going to select generic credential type. For the auth type, you're going to click bearer auth. And for the bearer auth, we're going to create a new credential. This is pretty simple. For now, you can name it something like VAPI default API key. And the way you're going to get that API key is by going back inside of clicking on the VAPI API keys section, and then going to this private key part and copying your private key. After you've copied your private key, just paste it inside of here and click save. There's no need to worry about the send headers. I've already set that up for you. And for the send body, you're going to have something very similar to my setup, except what you're going to have to do is change the ID to your phone number ID and do the same thing with the assistant. So let's tackle the assistant ID first. Go back to your assistant section inside of VAPI, go to the assistant you just created, and over here near the name of the assistant, you're going to notice this ID. Just copy that ID and then go ahead and replace my ID. The phone number ID, you guessed it, we're going to have to set up a phone number. So go over to this phone icon and then click create phone number. VAPI gives you the option to get 10 American phone numbers for completely free. But if you're outside of the US and you'd like to use an international number, you can go ahead and import one from Twilio, which is a common method. There are many tutorials on YouTube available, so you can set that up pretty quickly. But other than that, once you have a phone number, you're going to go ahead and copy its ID in the top right over here. You're going to do the same thing as before. Just replace my ID with your ID. And from here, you're all good to go because you've set up your entire assistant, and we can finally give this thing a full test call. Let's stop right here for a second. You're literally watching me build a fully automated system that books demos 24/7, and you get free access to all of the resources that I've mentioned inside of this video. That doesn't stop here. Our done-for-you voice agents, part of our Voice Freedom Protocol model, usually range between 4 and 5 figures, depending on how complicated of a voice agent you'd like to build. But I meant what I said in the start. Only 2 more businesses still have the opportunity to get a free Voice Freedom Protocol blueprint, custom built by my agency, and reviewed and tested by me personally, at absolutely no upfront cost. So if you're committed to growing your business and interested in this kind of setup, go ahead and book a free intro chat with me using the calendar link in the description. So hurry up because there are only 2 spots left. Now let's get back into the video. And one more thing, if you're going to be using Lovable to set up your form, what you're going to have to do is provide your webhook URL to the Lovable AI. So just copy this post link, and what you would do is just go ahead over here, paste in your webhook URL, and say something like, integrate this webhook URL to be called when someone fills out a form. So when someone fills out a form, this webhook is always going to be activated. And by the way, if you want to get 10 free credits when you sign up to Lovable, feel free to use my link in the description, because not only does it give you 10 credits, but Lovable also rewards me for having you sign up. I appreciate you. So now, let's finally test out this full setup and watch as the AI agent qualifies me, answers my objections, books a demo, captures my information, and then also answers any FAQs I might have. So I'm going to start by filling out this form for the SaaS that we have created. I will instantly get a call from the agent, so you can see the full system in action. So I just filled out the form and now I'm going to submit it. It says it's going to contact me within 24 hours, but I'm going to receive a call right now in just less than 10 seconds. Perfect, so I'm just receiving a call right now. I'm going to pick it up.
Hey Azim, Nick from Streamline HQ here. Wanted to reach out about a recent form you filled out for us. Mind if we have a quick chat?
For sure.
Great. Thanks, Azim. Just to confirm, I have your name as Azim. Email is azim@inspiraea.com. Company is Inspira AI, and you're the CEO. So I assume you're the decision maker when it comes to dashboard or analytics tools.
That's correct.
Also, perfect, Azim. Would you like to book a live demo to see how Streamline HQ works in real time for your needs?
Well, give me a sec, because I wasn't exactly sure. Do you guys integrate with things like Salesforce? Because that's really important for our company.
Absolutely, Azim. Streamline HQ integrates directly with Salesforce. You'll be able to sync data in real time and instantly build dashboards tailored to your needs. We can even showcase this feature during the demo if you'd like. Does that work for you?
Do you integrate with AI providers like ChatGPT, for example?
It's a great question. And yes, Streamline HQ integrates with a range of AI-centric and subscription management platforms. You'll be able to pull revenue metrics, customer data, and usage stats directly into real-time dashboards. We'll make sure the demo covers your use case. Would you like to lock in a time for that demo? We have availability this Thursday at 11 a.m. or Friday at 2 p.m. Which works better for you?
Let's go Thursday at 11 a.m. That sounds pretty good.
Perfect, Azim. I've gone ahead and reserved your demo for Thursday at 11 a.m. We'll tailor it specifically to cover how Streamline HQ integrates with Salesforce, among other needs. You'll receive a calendar invite shortly. Looking forward to it. If there's anything else you need in the meantime, feel free to reach out.
All right, thanks, Cole. I appreciate you. Goodbye. Perfect. So that was just the call over there. Of course, I chose a pretty horrible voice, even though I thought I was choosing the one I wanted to. But either way, what this voice agent did is it quickly greeted me with a human greetings. So it said something like, mind if we have a quick chat? After that, it confirmed my role as the decision maker, because I'm the CEO. And from there, it quickly locked me into a time slot inside the calendar. So right now, what we actually have to do is check if I've been captured as a lead successfully inside of Google Sheets, and then look inside of Google Calendar to see if I've been booked for Thursday at 11 a.m. And now if we go ahead and check my Google Sheets, yep, I've been captured successfully. So it's today's August 4th. It captured my details, kind of a combination between what it got through the web form as well as the details it got through the call. So it has my full name, it has my email, it has my phone number. All are completely correct. Company use case also seems correct because my objections were mainly based around ChatGPT and Salesforce integration. And then the notes and details is kind of summary of what actions occurred. And over here, the enrich info column is a pretty powerful strategy you can use later on. You can have another AI automation that actually works on this Google Sheet and possibly enriches the info about the company by using something like Perplexity to do research about it to increase preparation for the call. If I go over to my Google Calendar, I can see here the demo has been scheduled for Thursday at 11 a.m. Yep, that's correct. And over here, it's a pretty similar thing. Key objectives for the call, so discuss those integrations, as well as the walkthrough of the key features. And that's pretty much it. It's a pretty simple demonstration of how this is done. So even though this is a pretty simple version of our blueprint, It's quite effective because, as you saw, in just 2 minutes, we managed to capture my details to that web form and then call me to get more details and book a consultation. And all of that took just a few minutes. So instead of SaaS companies needing 42 hours of time on average to respond to an interested lead, this makes that process completely instant. And it doesn't even require an SDR to go out and place all of these repetitive calls when you can have an AI agent that goes ahead and does this in just a few minutes. And from here, your voice agent is all set to help SaaS companies book demos on a 24/7 basis and as fast as possible instead of losing many leads on a daily. If you're a business, whether SaaS related or not, feel free to book that intro chat I mentioned earlier in the video. I'll walk you through the exact method that real businesses are using in 2025 to automate their phone calling for good and gain 5 or 6 figure yearly advantages over their competitors. And once again, the first 3 businesses to sign up for this limited time opportunity will get a free custom system designed for them by my agency for completely free. Anyway, to leave this video off, please drop a like and subscribe if this was helpful to you. Also, if something's on your mind, just comment that so I can make a video about that in the future. But other than that, thank you for watching and have a nice day.